Hey guys, welcome back to Shop Life. Here's a quick tip on spacers. So what spacers will do is they'll space out your wheel a little further. That way you can clear your coilover, your strut, whatever you have depending on your wheel. You can clear it, and you can also decrease the fender gap. So like the horizontal fender gap, not the vertical, but like if your wheel's sitting too far in, it'll push it out so you can get it a little bit more flush with the fender. All right, so these are 20mm spacers for the Style 67s on this E46, because without the spacers, since the car is lowered, the wheel was rubbing the coilover. So we got these spacers off of eBay. They also included extra long lugs, because the normal stock lugs will not fit and they will not go into all of the threads. So if you are going to get spacers, if you get the bolt-in ones, they should include bolts with it. Otherwise, you're going to have to get extra long lugs. That way, everything will fit properly and you will still be safe when you're driving down the road. So these spacers right here, like I said, we got them off of eBay. They're okay. I think they're not as balanced as most other spacers because they were really cheap. But I know the ECS Tuning ones that you can buy off of their website, they're pretty good and they're not that expensive either. So that's a really good alternative instead of buying them from eBay. I mean, I'm pretty sure some eBay ones are good too, but I highly recommend ECS Tuning. They're a well-known business and they do a lot of online stuff. So these spacers right here, I got a set of 2 with the lugs for 20 bucks. They're 20mm spacers, as I said. They're made by, I'm pretty sure that's a D or it could be an O, so DSX. And we've had these for about a year. And like I said, they did throw the balance off just a tad bit. So besides that, these spacers work. They got the job done and they didn't mess up or anything like that. Make sure if you are using spacers, do not stack them. That is not safe. If you're gonna have anything that's big, try to see, like if you're getting anything over 20mm, I would recommend getting the ones that have more holes. That way you can bolt the spacer in and then you bolt your wheel onto the spacer. That's gonna be a lot safer because you're not gonna have to run a really, really long lug and you won't mess anything up. You can also do lug conversions to get a stud instead of using a lug. There's a lot of other stuff that you can do on your cars depending on what you have. But like I said, do not stack spacers. And you can use spacers on the front and the back, that you can use them on both sides, so it's not a big deal. I do suggest though, try to get a wheel that fits better. That way you don't have to use as big of a spacer, because the bigger the spacer, the more tension that you're gonna put on the actual wheel bearing and all that. So try to get a wheel that fits properly if you can, and go to the spacers as a last resort. And if you wanna measure to figure out what kind of spacer you need, make sure the car is on level ground and you already have your ride height dialed in wherever you want it, and then use like a ruler or something to measure from the top of the wheel out to the fender lip and see how much the distance is. And you always want to have some clearance between it, so don't try to get something that's going to be right at the fender. Leave at least, like I would say, 10mm of clearance. That way if you go over any potholes or any bumps and dips in the road, you have enough clearance and you don't mess up your fenders. So that's it for today's quick tip, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more tips, vlogs, product reviews, and DIYs.